Da 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 na na. Yo yo yo. What's up? Da 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 da. Not this. There we go. Yo yo yo. What's up y'all? Welcome back. I'm a bit low today. I'm not feeling so well. But still we live. We had to go live every day somehow. So hop in ASAP. ASAP Rocky. What's up? I don't know. I woke up today and everything felt so weird. My nose started bleeding. I had a little headache. Nothing was going right today. I don't know why. IRL stream in Paraguay and Brazil. Paraguay? Did I say it right? Paraguay. La 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 la, but you like it, my money, right? What should we watch today? Dun, 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 dun. Pararari, do para, do parararura. I don't think there's anything. Oh, there's a lot of Meat Canyons videos we haven't watched. David Dobrik's new body.
Beep beep.
Okay, let's watch this. Damn.
Beep beep.
David Dobrik's new body by Meat Canyon. Let's go.
Beep excavator, hold on tight. Heavy machinery at work here. Wee! No!
Oops.
Oh no! Oh no! No!
I think Meat has
Dang
made
it. Oh.
a video on David. Yeah, him giving away
Hello?
cards. Oh.
Did you drop this?
David Dobrik? I haven't seen you in years.
Bro, the laugh
So you've
is so
just been
accurate.
down here, huh?
The laugh is so accurate.
No. I've been traveling the world with my friends having a great time. Look. Look at this.
Damn.
Okay.
Also, look at this. Look
Whoa.
at that. I'm a totally new person, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see you lost some weight. That's cool.
I mean, I used to be a fat piece of shit, but I'm a changed man. Right? I'm totally
Bro.
different, right?
Why is his mouth dripping?
Right? Say I'm different. Say I'm different. I mean, don't you think I'm a changed man? I'm a new person. Look, I'm different. I'm physically different. I'm different, right?
I mean, you know,
Okay,
David,
calm down.
not everyone's perfect, and I mean, we all make mistakes. If you're down here and feel guilty about something, I mean, you know, you could come out and just admit it, right? Sitting down here in this sewer and showing kids your vlogs and your abs just, I don't know, just feels like you're avoiding something. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean,
God.
David? I don't know, you've been down here a while, just, it's kind of weird.
I'm a totally changed person.
Why does he keep saying
I'm a
it?
totally changed person.
I don't even
Whoa.
recognize him.
He's a totally new person. I don't even remember who he was. He's so changed now. I mean, don't you want your toy back? Tesla.
Oh my God. Not the Tesla.
I'm 9, but sure, I'll take the toy.
Let me grab it.
Bro, oh my god. What? What the? Bro, what? Nah, that's crazy. Damn, I haven't subscribed to Meet. Oh, damn. The kid probably holds the record for the luckiest Meat Canyon protagonist. Indian loses his arm, unlike Georgie. Ain't no way bro really survived Meat Canyon monster. Oh, I was about to watch this when then I forgot.
I can't believe my Prince Charming is taking his
Is that
princess to
actual?
Disney World.
Damn.
In first class, no less. I'm so glad I persuaded you to upgrade our tickets. Baby
Whoa,
gets
who's
what
that?
baby wants. Melvin, don't pinch me! I dare not wake up! Our dream of going to Disney World as a couple is only
Who's this
hours
guy?
away, my
Tiny
love.
Alright, folks, we're about halfway to our destination to beautiful Orlando, Florida. Local temperature is 85 degrees and clear skies, perfect for any travelers going to Disney World.
Oh my god.
Too much Moulin Mushu pork at the airport. I'll be right back. It's not Mulan,
My
it's
God.
just Panda Express, Jasmine.
Whoa. What? My god. Jasmine, I think you're the greatest. What?
Oh God.
Who's that?
I'm going back.
Man,
Oh God, should have brought more pads. Looks like roadkill in there. Ugh, smells like a roll
Whoa.
of pennies. I've got a heavy flow.
Oh my god. Whoa, what's that? Damn.
Nemo, where are you? Where the fuck are you, Nemo? Oh, there he is. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah,
Are you all right? I can't go back. I won't go back.
To Disney World?
Whoa.
Oh my God!
Whoa, what the?
Doctor on the plane!
What the?
It's gonna be okay. Is there a doctor on the plane? We have
What?
a medical emergency! It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
I gotta see this thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to a medical emergency, we're going to have to land in Kansas City. We appreciate your patience. Sit back and relax. We'll be landing soon.
Land early? Like this plane landed? We have to land this plane early? We're not going to Disney World? What? No! No! Listen, Jerry, you
Oh my
ruined this for
God.
all of us. Jerry! Land a plane.
Oh my-
I don't want to go there.
Oh, what's this whole thing now? I'm
Yeah.
actually having a headache.
I wish there was a
watching
way
this.
we could keep going, but looks like that's what we have to do in this type of situation, baby. Oh well. Is that what you really wish? That we can go to Disney World right now? Because I can do that for you, Melvin. Oh, I can do it for you.
Whoa.
Yeah, that'd be great, but I... Well, you're lucky that you're dating a fairy
The voice change
because
is
your wish
crazy.
is granted. I'm sorry, but my Prince Charming doesn't want this plane to land, so go tell the pilots that we're not landing the plane.
Lady, Jesus Christ, just sit down.
Don't talk to her like that! She's right! We want Disney! Take me to Disney!
Oh my god, bro is bleeding.
Are you okay? Bro, can you tell your girl to sit down? She's been exhausting this whole flight.
What a goofy thing to say!
What the? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the?
Gore, not gores. What the fuck is this?
What? Who is this crazy lady?
Goofy, look at me!
Who is this white crazy lady?
That's right.
I don't know
Who's your
her.
favorite
She's hacked
character?
to
My favorite character? Dory. It's gotta be Dory. Would you like to become Dory? Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Finding Dory.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell the pilot not to land the plane and to continue to Disney World?
What?
Jasmine. Why don't you let me tell the pilot? The least I can do. Aw, how sweet. My Prince Charming coming to save the day.
Bro,
That's
imagine if
nice
this
of
was
you.
real.
Oh, and one more thing. No funny business. Come on, everyone. Time to separate the
Oh
real
my
Disney fans
God.
from the fakers. Now who's ready for Disney World?
Bro, what?
What seems to be all the commotion back there?
My girlfriend says we can't land the plane.
Oh, Disney adults! They've taken over the plane! They're mutilating people, Captain! My God.
Oh my
Not
God.
again. When will they learn not to
What
let those
again?
monsters on a plane? Keep them on the cruise lines, damn it! God! Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to experience some rough air on our flight to Orlando. The seatbelt sign has been turned on. Thank you. Damn it! It appears all is lost.
I didn't even know the wand was magic. I tried breaking up with her, but she'd just wave it around, and I don't know, I felt bad. So.
Wait. What if you tried breaking the wand? And that got rid of her magic powers or something? I mean, that could save all the passengers, right?
Me?
We should hang on her.
No. I can't even break up with her. I can't.
Break the wand, then you can break her heart. The sooner you destroy that wand, the sooner we can take back control of the plane. Please, passengers are in danger.
Oh my God.
You're our only chance of surviving these Disney freaks. Water!
What?
I need water! Where's Nemo?
Bro, the sound. Oh my God. What the?
Don't touch my pins!
I'm too out of touch with Disney to know what are all these characters.
One more bite from the honey jar.
Oh, is that? Is that the beer which eats honey? I don't know if I forgot the name of that thing.
Donald! I want to be Donald Duck, please! Please! Your wish is my command!
My God.
My prince! Would you mind holding this? These mini panties are a bit too mini if you catch my drift. You've been poking probably
What?
God dang! Get in there! Old pussy's playing hungry hippos with my panties. Quick, bring it down!
Why is she punching it? Whoa.
Why did you do that? To get rid of your magic powers? Melvin, I don't need a silly wand for my powers. I can use them whenever I want. Disney just gave them to me. You see, when I was 3 years old, they kidnapped me while my mom and dad were riding Space Mountain, taking me
Oh my
to dark
God.
rooms and flashing lights and tubes and liquids, and I don't remember it all too terribly well. All I know is that it was pretty magical. And before I knew it, I was back with my parents. But you see, I was blessed. I was chosen by Disney.
Oh my God.
Oh, what's this? You dropped something. Don't worry, I'll get it.
Be with you, the force may be.
Oh, the force is female. The force is female. Is that a little love letter for
Oh
me?
my God.
Read it.
What does it say?
Do you really mean this, Melvin? Is this really what you want?
I don't know.
No.
Yes, or maybe. Yeah.
Well, why don't you just read it so everyone can hear? No point in keeping secrets.
Jasmine, will you marry me?
Oh my God! Yes, 1,000 times yes! I'll marry you, Melvin.
Oh,
Yes!
she changed it.
Oh,
Bro, it said something else. She changed it.
Melvin, you're gonna make me the happiest Disney princess in the whole Magic Kingdom.
Damn.
That was a nasty joke you pulled. So while you're getting ready for a wedding, you should really think about how you treat me. Prince
Oh my
Charming should never
God,
treat a
what
princess this way.
the?
Right? Yeah.
Come, my woodland critters! Take my prince away and get him ready for our
Bro,
wedding.
hats off to his animation though. This is so much, bro.
Get off me!
What is this sound?
No, don't take that off!
My titties!
No, don't touch me there!
Is it Aladdin?
Woodland
I don't know.
critters! Princess Jasmine needs you now!
Damn. Bro, the amount of work in this is crazy.
You should have broken up with this crazy bitch a long time ago. You just had to cry and complain about how alone you were and how it was so hard. Oh, boo-hoo! Now you're trapped. Trapped forever. Don't pretend to be in love just like mom and dad. Coward.
He has super fast too? Oh, who that guy? Oh,
She's
that guy.
ready!
Is this really the rest of my life?
And I'm like him? No.
So this is it.
Is he gonna sing?
It ends today. Couldn't face my fears, endure the tears, and now there's no other way. But does she have to die? She knows how I feel, but to say it out loud and in front of that crowd would take some balls of steel. It's not my fault she lives a life of fucking fantasy. It's like a cult, these people can't accept reality. She's an adult, it's an insult to our society. There's no happy endings. This is where I bid farewell to the crazy bitch from hell. But I can't deny
there's
the
it.
joy I see. She'd have that without me. It doesn't have to be.
Whoa.
Jasmine, there's something I gotta say.
What is it?
If I told you I loved you right now, it would be a lie.
What are you doing?
Whoa.
Man, I thought that was gonna be way better. Jasmine, I don't love you.
Oh my god.
Melvin, lay her down easy, bud. God damn. It just seemed easier to live in discomfort than to break your heart. And I was a coward. And really, I was leading you on. I can't marry
Oh
you.
my god. Why is his
It's
eyes
over.
below his wow, damn.
Jasmine, I'm sorry. This isn't the way fairy tale weddings are supposed to end. This isn't a fairy tale wedding. It's just a fantasy we're both living. And you deserve better than this, Jasmine. You're right. I should take the plane and crash it into Disney World, killing you, me, and everyone aboard this plane. Cementing us all with Disney's love.
Oh my god.
My prince is so smart! People talk about us like Romeo and Juliet!
Oh my god.
Jasmine!
Why did he have to blur it?
Hey, my dear, he'll be over soon.
I think bro got cooked after blurring.
And ever,
Adding this in the script is crazy. What the?
Oh, damn you! Oh! No! Melvin! You pass in the park!
What the?
Fly, my beauties! Here I come!
My god, there it is! The Disney World. What? What?
We're gonna die! Hold the steering wheel, damn you! And then you somehow landed the plane. Incredible.
Thank you, Captain. I couldn't have done it without you.
Melvin, your bravery is inspiring. Please, have my daughter's hand in marriage.
I'll have to politely decline. I'd like to be alone for a while.
No!
My God, there goes probably the best man I've ever met. Wave my arm, sweetie. Oh, don't worry, honey. We'll marry you off one day to some fine gentleman, I'm sure.
No, bro fumbled.
Store is the Melvin Macabre manga, a hardback book full
Bro
of
fumbled.
terrifying
Oh
tales
my
that you
god,
can
his
purchase
generation
right now,
is gonna
along
end
with a
here.
new shirt and new hoodie. Support Melvin's Macabre
Bro
right now
fumbled
by going
for
to
lifetime.
BK.store and picking up any of these items now. Thanks.
Bro, look at that.
My God.
Bro fumbled for generations to come. Oh my god. Why did bro say no?
Melvin, your bravery is inspiring. Please, have my daughter's hand in marriage.
Bro, what? Why did he say no? Why did he say no?
I'm gonna have to politely
Damn.
decline. I'd like to be
Oh
alone
my
for a
god,
while.
you stupid.
My God,
This guy's
there goes
stupid
probably the best
AF.
man I've ever met. Wave my arm, sweetie. Oh, don't worry, honey. We'll marry you
The
off
subtle
one day
jab,
to
they
some
don't-
fine
they don't
gentleman,
notice all
I'm
the
sure.
Now
Available at BK.store is the Melvin Macabre manga, a hardback book full of terrifying tales.
Bro, this guy's the best videos. Damn. Meat Canyon. Shout out to Meat Canyon. Go watch Meat Canyon. Every video takes so much effort. Unlike us just picking up our camera and just recording it, these things take time and effort. Anyway, go check out Meat Canyon. Like, he's one of the best in YouTube currently, and he's one of the longest in the YouTube game. There's so many people who came and went and came and went, but him, damn, he got the determination in him. Dun 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 dun. The Diddy parties of Pixel Gun 3D. What the Sigma? What the Sigma? Mickey 17. What's that? I don't wanna watch trailers, it's gonna cook me. The most expensive motorcycle ever manufactured.
We are back with our Every Manufacturer series, and this one is a fun one, guys. We're looking at the single most
Whoa.
expensive motorcycle from every manufacturer's history. Now, I know
Ooh,
you might think that from this
okay.
title that we're only going to be
Okay.
looking at new
Then that's gonna be
motorcycles.
good.
And obviously, on some level, it is true that high-end, ridiculously expensive,
There's like one
often
bike for
limited
whole 26
models,
minutes.
that is a somewhat recent thing. But because of inflation and other factors, some of the bikes on this list might surprise you. So make sure you stick around, especially till the end. So remember, we're looking at the most expensive model to come out of every manufacturer ever, not what bikes have sold for, in the aftermarket or later on. So it's not going to be some, rare knucklehead for Harley or, a Honda CB750 that maybe Steve McQueen owned. No, these are the motorcycles that were incredibly expensive right out of the gate from the manufacturer. And as you know, if you've watched this series
Okay.
at all, we only look at companies that are still in existence in some way today. Otherwise, it would be impossible impossible to cover every single manufacturer ever. But in this video, we have included a few extra companies that we sort of missed in the last few videos. So I've neglected to include BSA and Norton, which isn't fair both to those companies, because they are truly back. And speaking of which, let's kick things off with the most expensive Norton motorcycle ever. Now for Norton, the two bikes that stand out are the V4 SS and then now the newly announced revised version of that bike, which is the V4 SV. With inflation over the past 2 years, they're basically the same exact price on the same bike.
So expensive,
but for ease, let's just focus on the new V4 SV coming in at £44,000 or roughly $54,000. Now, as far as I know, nothing from Norton's illustrious history, even with inflation, comes close to this. Let's say Norton in their heyday had released some sort of limited Commando in the early 70s. It would have still only cost like $5 or $6 at the absolute most. Like that would have been insane if it was that much. And that still would
motorcycles
not be
are so
as much
limited.
As this motorcycle.
Every
of course, this is out of
so
reach in terms of price for most riders, and in terms of specs, the bike really doesn't compare
especially
to limited high-end performance machines
high-end
from the major manufacturers who also, sell limited special race bikes in this price range. So if you're going to drop $50,000, $60,000 on a crazy sport bike, this probably isn't the one to get. But when you think about how small Norton is as a company and the fact that these are essentially hand-built special bikes, it's not that crazy. I do love the top comment on 44 Teeth's first ride of this bike. This person says, Norton, delivering yesterday's performance at tomorrow's prices. And that's not too far off at this point. Small manufacturers like MV Agusta have been making high-end sport bikes that were better than this bike and faster than this bike like 10 years ago. So Norton really does need to
still in love with
actual riders with deep pockets beyond just investors are going to consider bikes
that's
like the
only
V4 SV
bike
beyond
that
it just being, a collector's bike, which is pretty much all it is at this point.
From
now for BMW, many of you will be familiar with the S1000RR. Their
There's
long-running
M1000
leader bike
RR
made to
too.
compete with the likes
There's
of Japanese
HP4
and
too.
Italian superbikes. That bike in and of itself is not a cheap motorcycle. And then of course, the M1000RR has a current base price of $32,995, though when it first came out, it was actually closer to about $38K. But the BMW motorcycle with the largest price tag goes to the HP4. Now this bike isn't so much a race homologation
I think
as it
it's
is really
limited
just
to
an engineering
750.
feat from BMW. And one word that should come to mind when you think about the HP4 is carbon.
I love
the
TP.
chassis, the rims, like most of the main components on this motorcycle are made of carbon fiber. If there's any point where they can make something carbon fiber for this bike, it's that.
This bike
and
is
it's very expensive because of this. Apparently it
very
takes 4
light.
workers 1 week just to form the chassis for this bike. And with a price tag of $78,000,
Oh, damn.
you're going to need some deep pockets if you want this one. This bike makes about 214 horsepower at about 14,000 RPM and weighs 322 pounds dry. And that weight is really what stands out for me.
Whoa, what's the weight?
And weighs 322 pounds dry. And that weight
Bro,
is really
what
what
is
stands out
pounds,
for me.
bro?
Sure, it does make a bit less power than, say, a $100,000 Superleggera, but somehow, namely that carbon fiber, this bike weighs less than a Superleggera. So it really is an incredible feat.
Just
from
use
BMW.
kilos.
If you have
Just
80
use
grand
kgs,
literally
man.
laying around, buy one of these, leave it in its crate. We'll talk about this with a lot of these bikes, but just leave it in its crate and sell it in like 15 years, and you will make a pretty penny on it. Now it starts to get difficult because we're looking at a company with
Superleggera
Ducati that has had their fair share of ridiculously expensive limited edition motorcycles. The original Super Mono cost about $30K in its day, which rounds up to over $60K in today's money. The recent Superleggera obviously was $100,000, and that may be the one that draws
Bro,
your attention,
how?
right? There's no way
How is a
Ducati has ever made
motorcycle
another bike that was
100,000?
that expensive, right? Well, you're almost correct. But the original Desmo Sedici RR, when inflation is factored in, was technically more expensive at $72,500 for the original MSRP in 2008, and that is exactly $100,249 today. So the Desmo Sedici RR is literally $250 more than the current $100,000 Superleggera, which is crazy. And interestingly enough, it was actually produced in much larger
100,000 for a
quantities than the
Superleggera.
Superleggera. This bike, well, in some ways it made Ducati
But
a ton of
it does
money.
look
Some
sexy.
1,500 were made. Now, the Desmo Sedici RR
Ducati
really
has
is a
one of the
different kind of
best
motorcycle,
looking
technically
motorcycles.
speaking. This was a
Especially
replica of their
V4
current
models.
race bike,
Every other
RR
V4
standing
looks
for
sick.
racing replica. Now, the story behind this bike is pretty crazy, and it's
But I
honestly
don't like the
worthy
new
of an
one.
entire video in and of
I
itself.
think they
This
messed
really
up the
was
headlight
a race
of
bike,
the
not
new
necessarily
V4, I guess.
performing at the level of a MotoGP bike at the time. In fact, they were
I
very
don't like it
cantankerous and
personally.
difficult, and you could buy a regular Ducati sport bike from that time and get better performance. But it did have many of the quirks and really just problems that come with owning this kind of crazy high revving hyperbike. And what's funny is the fact that it came with a 3-year warranty, with many of the Ducati dealerships having no clue how to work on this crazy machine. And besides the service fiasco, there's also the fact that 1,500 units was not the original projected run. People who bought this bike for 72 grand in 2008 when it was announced thought that they were getting, I believe, only 500 bikes. So, you know kind of how limited it is when you pay that kind of money. And then Ducati just decided to make a whole bunch more because obviously it was just an absolute cash cow for them. So yeah, pretty
My
interesting
God.
story. Ducati has many
How do
other
they
strange bikes
how do
in their
they sell a
history.
limited
Again,
edition
all of them
bike
worthy of their own videos.
and then
But
make
this,
more
the
money?
Desmo Sedici RR, takes the cake for the most expensive Ducati ever. Now for Honda, you might think that the NR750 is the most expensive Honda to ever be released, with a $50,000 price tag way back in 1992, which comes out to about $106,000 today. And at the time, I believe that was the single most expensive production motorcycle ever. But actually, the price for the most expensive Honda to ever be released goes to the Honda RC213 VS with a price tag of $184,000 in 2016, and it's still currently made. This is basically Honda's MotoGP bike. Literally, the GP bike goes by RC213-V, and this is -VS. Obviously, there are quite a few
What?
differences, especially if you don't get the extra kit that is available, bumping the horsepower way up. I mean, in stock form, this bike doesn't actually make that much power, but with the kit, you get well over 200 horsepower, but you're still not really close to what
200.
MotoGP bikes are hitting. Those bikes are hitting around 300 horsepower. The weight on this bike is low, almost MotoGP low, but in the end, this bike makes little sense for the price that it's at. There's much better options if you want,
I'm expecting
a
at
straight
least
out of the crate MotoGP bike. I'd never
70
say
to
this, but the
75%
Superleggero
of the
really was
performance.
the value buy in this segment at 100K. In the end, it's more of a collector's piece. In fact, recently a RC213 VS left in its original crate sold for well over 200K, making it the most expensive Japanese bike to ever sell at auction. So these are collector pieces. I don't love that. I think it's pretty lame. Sometimes bikes like this that aren't this pricey, that are say maybe more like 40 or 50K, people will use them as track bikes if they really have deep pockets. But otherwise, these bikes are just way too expensive for most people to actually use. All right, I told you guys that I would include BSA, so here we go. Yeah, the truth is there have not been very many expensive BSAs, especially since BSA missed
What
out on
BSA?
the whole
I
limited
don't
edition
know.
phase.
BSA.
BSA obviously just came back, whereas companies like Norton and, Triumph and Royal Enfield all kind of lived through that. So we're going back to a time and a period when BSA really was on top, selling at least some expensive limited machines. The most limited, and I would assume most expensive, as it's quite difficult to get numbers for original prices for motorcycles from the 50s and 60s, would have to be the BSA Gold Star. Now, I've found very little stats on its price. There's not much info out there, but I do know that upon its re-release in new trim after World War II, the Gold Star cost a whopping 211 pounds, which equals out to over $9,000 today. But that was the
Whoa.
350cc version,
Inflation
and the
is
later
crazy.
500cc version, reaching its pinnacle in the DBD form, would have had to cost like way more than that. Probably the
Still looks
equivalent
nice.
of like $15,000 today. And then you have also the limited race versions of these bikes made for teams. The Gold Star is the greatest, most exclusive, most race-oriented bike that BSA
And the thing
has
about
ever
motorcycles
had.
is
Most BSAs,
there's so
besides,
little you can
the later
decide
twins,
about it.
which still were more affordable.
You can just add more
never
frames,
hit these kinds of numbers and were
But
never as limited. I mean, it was
when
almost
I look from
impossible to get
afar-
a Gold Star in the United States, and that's why
Yes,
there's just so few
it's
of them
really
left.
difficult
So who knows?
to
Maybe
stand out as
a
a
limited
motorcycle.
edition Gold Star 650 currently will come out and beat those prices, but I really
guess-
doubt it. Next up,
I
we
don't
have
know.
Suzuki,
What am I saying?
and this is one of the most difficult companies to nail down for this. It's not that Suzuki doesn't have or
I don't
hasn't
think
had
Busa
some
is the most
expensive bikes
expensive.
in their lineup, though normally Suzuki is kind of known for having affordable options
Yep.
in every segment. But really, it's the fact that Suzuki doesn't
Busa is
release
one of the
these extremely
most
exclusive,
affordable
high-performance,
superbikes. Was.
ridiculously
Now I don't
priced
know.
machines. Back in 1986, Suzuki sold a very limited edition version of their original GSX-R MGSR 750 very shortly after it was released, and less than 200 were made, but even that bike was the equivalent of about 17 grand today. So it's not that crazy. Suzuki also doesn't offer a bike that's essentially the same as their MotoGP bike like so many other companies do. I mean, they're such cheapos. In order to avoid taxes, Suzuki is actually destroying some of their leftover MotoGP bikes, literally crushing history just to save a few bucks. Now, as far as I know, the limited edition Hayabusa, known as the Bol d'Or, of which only 100 were ever made, was about $28,000 US dollars, but it was only available in France. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that's the most expensive Suzuki ever sold. I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, how crazy is it that the most expensive Suzuki isn't even really over 30 grand? Suzuki's not exactly a high roller when it comes to these expensive production bikes. Oh, also, I know many of you are going to point to the complete carbon AEM Hayabusa, and I don't think that's a production motorcycle made by Suzuki in-house that was for sale. I think that was just sort of a custom bike. Let me know if I'm wrong about Suzuki though, but I couldn't find anything else other than this. Next up, we have Moto Guzzi, and I believe the most expensive Moto Guzzi bike goes to the limited and ultimately shut down MGS01, which cost about £20,000 at its release in 2005, which is about £35,000 in today's money. This was a limited Moto Guzzi race bike, not just the most expensive, but also one of the weirdest motorcycles to ever come out of the Moto Guzzi factory. Only 150 were ever built in total. This was a true race machine, probably the most Italian thing Moto Guzzi has ever made. Very red, very fast, very torquey, and very exclusive. This bike is tricked out with everything that you'd expect from like a Ducati or Agusta from this time. It repped 122 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, and the goal was to create a road-going, sort of less performance-oriented version. Ultimately, that project would be scrapped and Guzzi would go back to making more Guzzi-like bikes, which is kind of a shame if you ask me. I think it'd be really cool if Moto Guzzi had sort of a sport bike in their lineup. But yeah, the MGS01, very interesting bike and very expensive in its day. Now, based on my extensive research, there are a few bikes in Yamaha's history that get close to this one, but I think in the end, the 1999 YZF R7, which was $32,000, which is just over 57K today, is the most expensive Yamaha of all time. Limited to 500 units, and not to be confused with the current, rather contentiously named Yamaha R7. This was basically a race homologation bike. This was Yamaha's race bike designed for World Superbike. And if you're into sport bike collecting, this original Yamaha R7 is sort of one of those holy grails up there with the RC30. And, it is really starting to fetch some crazy prices even now if you did get your hands on one. If a company does release a bike like this today, whether it's, based on a race bike or just some sort of crazy limited, crazy expensive
and
exclusive
one of these
motorcycle,
R1,
and let's say you have 100
like the
grand
old
laying around,
R1,
it's not a bad investment to just buy one. Never open the crate, buy it, never use it, and then sell it 15 years later, and you'll probably make some money on that investment. It's kind of boring and lame to never start a motorcycle, but that's where it's at apparently. All right, let's look at Harley, and of course they've had their fair share of special edition motorcycles with limited runs that were, well over $30,000, but it's actually the CVO Tri-Glide at a balmy $50,000 that wins the prize for the most expensive production Harley Davidson ever. And who knew it would be so much to just add 2 more wheels? No, it's really because of this model and what it is. The CVO models for Harley are essentially fully loaded and limited kind of custom cruisers, and it's really taking this whole cruiser thing to the absolute max with all the features. And so the trikes from Harley already having like a hefty price tag means that the CVO version is just going to be that much more crazy and expensive. This bike starts at $50,000. That's where it starts. So trust me, it can get way up there in price if you really customize it. Maybe you want spinners on your trike. I don't know. But think about the kinds of motorcycles that you can buy at this price point. Limited edition, one-off sport bikes. Well, not one-off, but very limited ones. The absolute best of Ducati and MV Agusta. Like, you could buy a Brutale 1000. You could buy a very limited edition MV Agusta for this price. You could buy a Ninja H2R. So it's not the best value proposition.
We haven't reached Kawasaki yet.
Okay. I believe the most expensive Harley that you can buy. All right, for Kawasaki, I think it's safe to say the most expensive production Kawasaki ever goes to the Ninja H2R, the 326 horsepower supercharged superbike, and it will set you back 56 grand currently. And it's hard to really understand what the point of this bike is, honestly. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It really is in many ways a collector's piece, as it's not street legal. It's not exactly a useful bike for the track. Sure, it's powerful and it has ridiculous top speed, but any of these other sort of ready to go race bikes will absolutely run circles around an H2R on the track because it's a big, heavy bike. And, you know, obviously it's more of a drag racing bike. I think the H2R stands out really as such a unique design and also engineering feat, a sort of audaciousness that just isn't seen in the motorcycle world anymore.
I think H2
sure,
is
Super
okay.
Leggera is cool, but
H2R
it really is just a
way
mix of
too
the
powerful
Panigale
for a
MotoGP
normal
tech,
human being.
you know, like all the other bikes on this list. So if you want a truly crazy, unique motorcycle that's not really based on anything, that is special in its own regard, it just is what it is, I think that this is the bike to get. If I had $50,000 laying around and I had to
Only
buy a new
$50,000
motorcycle, I would probably
for
just
that
buy
kind
a
of
fleet
performance.
Interceptors. No, seriously, I would buy this bike and I would leave it in a crate and I would take it out in 50 years and sell it for a fortune. Because I really do think the Ninja H2 and H2R are some of the craziest motorcycles of our
I'd love
sort
to
of
own one.
era. For
Yes.
Indian, there aren't as many production bikes hitting the prices that Harley hits, and there have been some limited edition baggers that get close to 40K, but I believe the most expensive technically production bike from Indian ever was the $50,000 limited FTR 750s, of which only 50 were made. And this is essentially their 750cc race bike. It's not like you can just throw a headlight on it and head out, you know, which is sad. That's what I want from Indian. I think it's time for Indian to make a 750cc production version of the FTR at a way lower price than the 1200 or even a 500cc version if they wanted to.
I was
avoid the
looking
problems
through
with race
last
homologation.
night,
Also,
not
with the
last night,
purchase
like few
of
days
the
ago, I was
limited
looking
edition
through
750, you got some other cool
normal
perks,
people
like free
can
trips to
buy
flat track
MotoGP
races, which
bikes,
isn't really
but
that
it's
great
really
of a perk. It's
expensive.
not that expensive, but I'm sure you get to do some other cool stuff. Also, you do get
Like,
to get like
some
free
go to
lessons on how to
few
ride a
million,
flat
if I'm
track
not
bike.
wrong.
So so you can yeet your $50,000 race bike into the grandstands. Or let's be real, they're probably
Six
throwing
figures
you
at
on
least.
a 125cc dirt bike. But it's still cool. Again, it's not that expensive probably to get a flat track racing lesson. It's not $50,000. I think many of the people who do get their hands on one of these 50 bikes were former racers and they were given the option to have their own number on the bike, I believe. Now, the recently announced RSV4X Trenta was close to topping the most expensive Aprilia of all time, 50 race.
Why did I skip it here?
The people who on a 125cc dirt bike, but it's still cool. Again, it's not that expensive probably to get a flat track racing lesson. It's not $50,000. I think many of the people who do get their hands on one of these 50 bikes were former racers and they were given the option to have their own number on the bike, which is really cool. And man, what I wouldn't give to have one of these beautiful machines. The Indian FTR 750 race bike is just such a beautiful bike. So amazing, so much slimmer and sleeker than the 1200. And come on, we need a production version of this. Anyways, that's the most expensive Indian of all time, I believe. Now, the recently announced RSV4X Trenta
I've been looking
was
for
close
this.
to topping the
There's
most
no
expensive
video about
Aprilia
this.
of all time, but it's actually a different bike, the RSV4 FWGP, which is
No, I'm talking about this one.
RSV4X Trenta.
I haven't seen any videos of this. I don't know why. I've been searching of it in track or just performance. I haven't found any. The weight to power ratio is crazy on
was
this bike.
close to topping the most expensive Aprilia of all time, but it's actually a different bike, the RSV4 FWGP, which is essentially an RSV4 GP bike straight from the Aprilia racing program. This bike will set you back $83,000. So Aprilia is right up there with the most expensive bikes on our list in terms of performance when looking at these limited edition bikes, essentially race bikes. This one wins in terms of specs. Over 250 horsepower. Honda's $100 and some $1,000 bike does not make this kind of power. This bike is pretty much as close as you're going to get to owning a MotoGP bike, and buying one of these factory GP bikes from Aprilia comes with some cool exclusive Italian perks, like you get a free trip out to Aprilia's racing headquarters where they'll help you with your on-track skills. In many
But are
ways,
these available for
bikes like
sale?
this and others they're about the exclusivity, they're about the experience, and clearly I'm not yet in that category, and even if I was, I think there's other places I would spend 80 grand. But hey, pretty cool on Aprilia to really open up their racing department and their tech in ways that no other company has.
Looks
and as
sick.
much as, 80 grand sounds like a lot, it's really not that crazy. For KTM, there was talk of bringing a limited 100 unit version of the RC16 MotoGP bike that would cost well over 100 grand. But as far as I know, that has not happened. But KTM did release and sell out in minutes their new RC8C production race bike, of which only 200 were made at 40 grand each.
Whoa.
Now, this is actually really similar to what you get from the company Kramer. In fact, you might actually get a better bang for your buck just getting a Kramer, which is essentially KTM Dukes, tricked out for local racing. But, as with many of these, it's not the racers that are spending the big money. The RC8C is not a production version of a race bike, but rather a race version of a production bike with a tuned Duke 890 twin. Obviously, it's more than just that, but it's hard to see, again, why people are spending so much money to get a race version of this when you could get a race version of this by going other places. I mean, it is a great bike for local racing, no doubt,
I like
but
the
there's
old
just cheaper
one.
ways to go
The
about
older
getting this
RC8.
exact bike if you are needing a really great track bike for local sort of class racing. Again, the Kramer is essentially the same thing at a fraction of the price. But I digress. That's the most expensive KTM production bike as far as I know. Now, Triumph is a company that hasn't really indulged in the game of high-end limited edition bikes. In fact, Triumph does more affordable limited edition versions of their bikes that just have slight changes from the production versions. I mean, the limited edition Daytona Moto 2 bike was still only like 17 grand. I believe the
This was the
Rocket 3
best
GT
Triumph I had seen,
221,
Daytona
which cost
670 or
25k, is the
something.
most expensive production
Dude,
Triumph ever.
the newer
Correct
one
me if
looks
I'm
so
wrong here,
bad.
Or on any of these, it is hard to find this information. Some of these brands, I just sort of know their history
Daytona
better. But as far as I know,
675
Triumph
something
hasn't
like that.
done this crazy high-end limited edition
The
thing.
older one
So
looks
I
so
believe this bike is
beautiful.
the most expensive production bike
The
ever.
new one
Now,
looks
obviously, this
so-
is based on the Rocket 3 GT, which is just the Rocket 3 with some touring specs and mods. The 221, however, comes with a special paint and graphics, and I have to say, it is a nice looking bike. Triumph does this really well. I really like the Rocket 3, actually. I think it's a cool
this is
bike. If I
3000
were going to
cc
buy a
bike, yeah, if
touring
I'm not
bike
wrong.
with a bit of a sort of cool factor versus all of the underpowered road sofas that you get from other manufacturers, this is the bike I would get. And who does not want to own the biggest engined, torquiest motorcycle in the world? I think Triumph just isn't in a place to build $100,000
Wait.
3 GT221, which costs 25k, is the most expensive production Triumph
I think
ever.
this is
Correct me if
3000
I'm wrong
cc
here,
or
or on any
2500.
of these. It is hard to find this information. Some of these brands, I just sort of know their history better. But as far as I know, Triumph hasn't done this crazy high-end limited
How
edition
heavy
thing.
is this?
So I believe this bike is the most expensive production bike ever. Now, obviously, this is based on the Rocket 3 GT, which is just the Rocket 3 with some touring specs and mods. The 221, however, comes with a special paint and graphics, and I have to say, it is a nice looking bike. Triumph does this really well. I really like the Rocket 3, actually. I think it's a cool bike, and if I were going to buy a touring bike with a bit of a sort of cool factor versus all of the
How heavy is
underpowered
this
road
thing?
sofas that you get from other manufacturers, this is the bike I would get. And who does not want to own the biggest engined, torquiest motorcycle in the world? I think Triumph just isn't in a place to build $100,000 motorcycles in any form. They haven't been developing on the race side the way that, the big Italian and Japanese manufacturers have. And you do have to wonder when the Moto 2 class itself is going to go a different direction. Triumph just is not on the cutting edge of road racing tech. Like, the Speed Triple is the craziest race machine they make, but they can't make a $75,000 version of that bike, for example, because that's the best they can do. Like, that's the fastest, craziest motorcycle it seems like they can make. They just don't have the chops to make a completely like carbon fiber version of a Speed Triple that makes 240 horsepower. You really have to have a racing department to be able to do that kind of thing, which is fine, honestly. They know how to do limited edition bikes in their own way. And even though sometimes it is a little silly because it's just a paint job, they're never that expensive. So it makes them money and they do it their way. And I think it's better than what Harley has done with some of their $50,000+ bikes that really are not worth it. it. So yeah, that I believe is the most expensive Triumph ever. Now I have a feeling this one's going to be really difficult. I really have no clue what the most expensive Royal Enfield
Very
ever is.
popular
So
here.
just give me a few minutes and I'll go find out. And while you guys wait, I want you to think over, do you think it's going to be more than 10K or less? I don't think so, honestly, but just hang on and I'll be right back. Okay, so I believe the most expensive Royal Enfield motorcycle to be released by the company, well, as of late, it's going to be the upcoming 120th anniversary Continental GT at a whopping $8,500 US. But I believe I've found a more expensive bike. The original Interceptor, when it was released back in 1960 and really culminated in 1970, well, that 6970 model cost $1,495 US, which is over $12,000 of purchasing power today. And since the original Interceptor 700 is still the sportiest, most
We have one of
performance-oriented
these.
bike the company has
have a
ever
Continental
released, this was one of the
650.
fastest motorcycles in the world at its time. I
It's
believe
really fast,
that is
really
the most
loud,
expensive
really
Royal Enfield
grunty.
of all time. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Nice
but I
bike.
don't think I'm wrong. I could be, but I don't think so. For MV Agusta, and this is our last one, I actually
me
thought
show
it was
you all
going to
after
be the
this.
final version of the F4, that amazing
Oops,
Claudio
my
version,
camera.
which in my opinion probably should have been priced higher, but you know, with all the ridiculous carbon fiber drippings. But no, it's actually the 2007 F4cc, which at its release cost a ridiculous $120,000, which would be over 170K today. MV
Whoa.
Agusta's F4s have had lots of crazy versions. The 312 is one that I think of, which broke the gentleman's agreement of sort of limiting the top end speed of sport bikes. Also the crazy Siri Oro versions, which all topped,
This looks
$50,000.
nice.
And even the new Super Veloce 100 Siri Oro, which is going to be over 50,000 pounds. But no, this bike is a different level of crazy. CC stands for Claudio Castiglione, and as many of you know, the Castiglione family are responsible for resurrecting MV Agusta, and this version was limited to 100 units. At the time, this version of the F4, which was already one of the fastest, raciest bikes
Looks
in the
so
world, well, this
massive.
version was the fastest due
Oh, you
to
know
a
what else
relentless
is
focus
massive?
on limiting weight,
Low
high-end materials,
time
and creating more
behind.
power. This bike has loads of bare carbon fiber on it, especially for the time. Over 90% of the bike is handmade versus the standard F4 from the time. But again, it's the experience. You know, when you received your F4cc, it was like more of a ceremony than a delivery. You got this exclusive leather jacket.
Nice.
The F4cc really paved the way for limited high-end exclusive motorcycles. I think that many of the major manufacturers have taken cues from MV Agusta in this regard. They're just so good at it. Nobody does this like MV Agusta with all the packages and things you get with your bike. And though most of us will never own a motorcycle like this, or like most of the bikes on this list, you know, we can still have fun dreaming of owning something like this bike. So which bike on this list, regardless of the price tag, forget about price, which one would you want to own? Let us know down in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know as
there's
well if
so
you guys
many.
have
I
any
think
other
I'll own
ideas for how we can
everything. I don't
continue
think I'll pick
this every
one.
manufacturer series. And
think I like
hope you guys enjoyed
everything.
it. We'll see you in the next one. Ride safe.
Let me show you all my bike. Where is it? Damn, we're losing subscribers. What the? Bro, we were at 673. How are we down to 670? That's crazy. What happened to my camera though? Come on, camera. Don't give up on me. But that's crazy. We're losing subscribers instead of gaining. Ba 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 ba. Bro, we lost 2 subscribers in this stream. What happened? I genuinely don't know. I don't know what's happening to my phone. No, my God. Open up. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, so I was talking about showing you all the bike. There we go.
Okay, my battery drive.
Let's go back. Now let me show you all the ride back home. It's gonna be crazy. What's this? Now before that, let me tell you all a quick story time.
Okay, my battery
That's it.
died there.
I show little of it. Oh, he revved it. I put music over it. My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Anyway, let's play some games and call it a day today. I'm not feeling it today. I'm really tired. Dun 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 dun. Currently, I like the Qatar GP. Batteries on. Got the bad batteries on. What is happening? Ready for the action. Happen. Okay, I don't want rain because it might cook the stream. Hopefully it doesn't cook the stream, but if it gets ended suddenly, just know guys, it's because what happened to the post processing? It does sound like iPhone car. I mean, the braking isn't like F1, but yeah, handles pretty good. Come on, what you having? Ready for some action? 4 in the morning, and then I see a possessed. I'm so sorry if the stream gets cooked. Oh my bad. Oh my god, I didn't even turn on. Oh my god, I didn't even turn on the game. I am so stupid. It's a big ass curve. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Let's try this. Another AMG. MG GLE63S AMG. Low sill. I don't know if it's a good track car. Boom, 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 boom. I think of adding Rolls Royce and all in this game, but it isn't useful when you're doing tracks. This it's handling pretty well. I wanna check the replay. Chat, I guess the stream is gonna crash now. Hopefully it doesn't. My camera has crashed. But anyway, let's call it a day here. Hope you all enjoyed. As usual, like, share, subscribe. Let's see the drift here before that. Really. Oh my god, it wasn't even a drift. What the Sigma? Okay. Come on, homie, be happy. Ready for action. Anyway, you all, stay safe.